to use those colors. This is all of them here. This set here is the Kalour, and they come in this metal box. And oh, I'm missing one. So this is the set here, and that's kind of what it looks like. That actually should be in the bottom. It's a little bit easier to pick out, or you can pick them all out with these bands that are on here, these little handles. So if that sets in the bottom like that, and you have these little rubber band things pulled up, you can just pull all three of the trays out of the can, out of the box. So that's why that's kind of neat. So that's what that looks like. These are the Brutfuner, and they come just in a box. And okay, so I have to stop the video for a minute because I heard my husband come in the house, and so I thought, well, I'll just play some music just to cover up any noise he might be making. So these just come in this box, the Brutfuner, on these trays. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave those out because I'm going to put them in this in a pencil case when I'm done. So I think I have some 80 pencil cases, but there's some differences in the colors between the two sets. I really didn't notice much difference in using the pencils. I know Brutfuner are oil-based pencils, so there's a good array of colors between the two of them. The other thing I decided to do on the video was to just try some of these on black. So I just made these circles using, oh, I can't find my pen. I just had it. Using this pen, I think so many people use, it's a Signo by Uniball. And you can see I drug my template across the ink there while it was still wet, so smeared a little. But I wanted to see how these would work on black. So if you remember in one of my previous videos, in order to get the color pencil to show up on the black, I put a little clear gesso on, and that really grabbed the pigment, and then the color really popped off the page. But yeah, that's not too bad. That looks kind of cool. Try a darker blue over here. And this is the Brutfuner. Well, I hope I'm saying that right. Brutfuner. So it's got a shine to it. And actually I am pressing pretty hard to get this layer down. Otherwise you might want to just, if you don't like pressing hard, which I'm pretty heavy-handed and I'm trying to back off a little bit so I don't have that, it's hard on your hands. If you're using a pencil that doesn't have a lot of pigment or whatever, and you want to get a certain effect, you might end up pressing too hard and hurting your hands. Try this green. So I'm not going to swatch out all of these. Just a few, just to see what they look like on this black. a different lighter color. Try this. So the cool thing, I'll go back to it. Brutfuner has some pretty interesting color names for their metallic pencils. I don't know if they're that way with all their pencils. I think I have a set of 320 that I got as a gift, and I haven't even touched them yet. So, mimosa. Some of the colors that I thought were interesting. Let's see. There's one down here that's called, there's red, purple, black, monk's robe, ice age deep blue, bijou blue, morning dove, the bird, morning as in sorrow. I thought there was a dead green somewhere that I thought was really strange. I think it was the Brutfuner. New red, orange, ketchup, baked apple, harbor blue, grape kiss, Concord copper. Can't remember what that one is. Anyway, jet set. I really love the red, purple, black. So that's kind of what I'm getting a little bit on the black. And this is how this looks. So I'm not going to swatch all of these. I'll swatch a few of the Kalour. So these I'll put in a case. I might put these in a case too. But this is a really nice box. But there is a certain convenience to having them in a case. So this is how the Kalour look on the black. Just to get some idea. And if you're wondering what this book is that I'm swatching these in, this is an Arteza sketch pad, black sketch pad, 90-pound paper. Try this nice bright purple. So this, to me, these pencils look great in the black. And then this, try this. I really like the way this looks. This is awesome. Very cool. Okay, so I'm going to leave those pencils out and pack this up for a minute. So I have here at hand this AF-matte pencil sharpener. So I pretty much have gone to using this one. It's hand crank. I've used a lot of different pencils, everything from the little handheld KUM pencil sharpener to Bostitch to AFMAT electrics. I use this one and I use the Daily one, DAHLE. That I love that pencil sharpener. It I don't know, I think it's around $30 or something like that. It's on Amazon, and it's well worth the money if you're much more serious colorist than I am. You probably are familiar with that, have heard of it if you don't already own one. But if you're looking for one, or you're just frustrated before you throw in the towel on colored pencils, and if you can afford it, try that one out. The other thing you need to know about the Brutfuner pencils, and I didn't have a problem with the Kalour, is you have got to give them like one turn in a pencil sharpener. Otherwise, you get kind of this scratchy. It just doesn't color right. So it's not the paper and it's not the pencils. You just kind of need to take that little bit of outer shell off. So I've heard other color pencil users talk about that, and so that's one thing you need to be aware of. So if you're having that problem with not just with metallics but any color pencil, give that a try. So I started a picture in this, and it's this one right here, and I really feel like I messed up on the sky on this one. So there's probably not a lot I can do about that. It's kind of streaky. I used, I think Prismas. I used some I used good pencils, but it just doesn't look right to me. I mean, it might look okay once I get everything done, but it just didn't look right to me. But I've decided that I want to use these metallic pencils to finish up in here. So I'm going to go ahead. So I do kind of like the way that he looks, but I want to finish up these trees. So go ahead and get started on that. Okay, so my husband came down because he flipped a breaker, so I stopped the video. Now we're back at it. I have this sinking feeling that he's going to be down here again. Okay, so I am using these where before I was using Faber-Castell's Polychromos and Prismacolors to do the sky. And I just want to finish up. I'm not real pleased with it, but I want to finish it. And I hate leaving things unfinished. So, and I want to see how these pencils will work in these books. And I Kirby. This is Worlds Within Worlds by Kirby Rosanis. And I'm just becoming familiar with the whole, even though I've always had color books, I've had them for a long time. And my work in them has been pretty sporadic over the years. Kind of like, I just want to do watercolor and color pencils primarily. And so I thought, well, I'm going to get some more books, look at the ones I've got. In fact, I need to do another haul video because I did part one of my thrift store haul on my coloring books. And I did another color book haul of a bunch of color books I got in an online auction, of which this was one. And I need to do some more coloring book haul videos because I only did part of the ones I got on my recent thrift store trip down to in Colorado. And so it's a lot of fun. It's engaging. It keeps me from watching too much TV, too getting kind of down about everything that's going on, and thinking about something else besides, you know, the events of the day. Um, so I I like color books. You can grab them, you can call them up. I also like to do my own drawings. Um, there's a certain amount of like lack of self confidence there doing my own work and whatever, and you know, drawing. The the one thing I did that I really enjoy, and I'll have to do a couple videos on, is doing more abstract work using colored pencils. So I need to, I work on that every now and then when there's other things, you know, when I've got the time. So a lot of people like to color on drafting film. And so I started experimenting with a piece of synthetic paper, a large 12 by 30. And then I got a little carried away putting on not just colored pencil, but watercolor and inks and drawing over that and doing this and that and so that's been fun, and I've done a video on that. And it's a big piece. And even though it's a big piece, I look at it more like it's a sketch because it's so everything is so experimental, and I'm not sure it's ever going to get at a place where it's a cohesive, harmonious piece of art that, you know, that I really like. Of course, I can always cover over somehow the parts that I don't like, and and fix it that way. So that's all good. Those are all good learning opportunities. Or, you know, the thing about it is something like that too that I've learned is you stick it away for a while, and so these pencils, what I like about the daily is it grips. It has this thing you open up and you put the pencil in and it grips like that. And so it fits. This pencil is almost feels too large to go into the aft mat. It does fit. So this is the Brutfuner. And so I'm going to come up here. I'm going to go back down here. This is just a little bit darker than the other pencil that I was using. So I'm going to take this one and fill in some of those more shadow places. So they're a little darker. So years ago, when I first started with pencils, coloring books, I would sit around at night and do it. Well, I did. You know, I must be aging awfully fast because it was like overnight, and I started kind of having problems with my eyes and stuff. So I kind of backed off from doing it. And then my husband retired, and your routine changes. I moved, your routine changes. And I never really got back into it. Well, here lately, I've kind of gotten back into it, and I found that there's this kind of resurgence in interest, but people aren't so much. I think there's still a lot of fans and still a lot of people. I love this book. These are amazing. They're just amazing. They're so inspirational, so much fun to do. But people are doing other kinds of color pencil coloring books, and I've looked at them and I've kind of like, I don't know, that's really for me, and I'm really happy for them that they've discovered something that's so much fun and it looks like fun. But I'm thinking maybe that's probably not right for me. I probably shouldn't say that because like next week I'll be going crazy over it. I don't know. I don't have any. I mainly have these that came out during the kind of the first phase of adult coloring books. The one I would sit and work in these books when I first started. And time, I would start, and all of a sudden, just you'd look at the clock, and hours had gone by, and you just kind of, the escape was so much fun. It was so neat. So I really liked that aspect of it because my husband was working nights, and you know, I was on my alone at night and needed something to do, and kind of living in a strange place, and so I'm just taking this pencil and filling in some of these shadowed areas. I can hear myself lisping, and I'm not sure why I've suddenly decided to lisp. So I like this. It's hard on here. I think I'm going to go with them. Let's see. I'll try some Kalour on there. Those are Brutfuners. But I wanted a much lighter. This, I think. Try this yellow. So I like to work with a really sharp point. So I know that's really super long, and you're probably like, oh God, that's gonna break. And you do have to, that runs a risk. And so you have to get familiar with the pencils and how much pressure can a certain type of pencil take when it's sharpened to a point like that. And the Kalour and the Brutfuners seem to be very tough pencils. Now, when I swatched them, course, I didn't sharpen them that much. Not like this. But you can see this Kalour is really taken, is got a really strong point. I don't feel like there's any chance of it breaking up in the core, up in the wood. It just seems to be a very strong pencil, which is good for somebody like me who just likes to bear down. I don't do a lot of layers. I know there's some people that just like, oh, I can layer 20 times. I got 20 layers. And I don't see it. I mean, I don't have that great of luck with my, and maybe it's the type of paper I do work on. Now, some of the best paper, I did a abstract. It was on a printmaking paper. I don't have it here with me right now, but I'll show you someday. On a printmaking paper, just a tablet of printmaking paper, and that just took the pigment, the color. I'm not sure how it would be to blend on there, but that's definitely something to think about. So I'm really, I like to see all these variations. That's just the way nature is. Just all the light and the variations in the color. And we'll finish this one out. This book does have a little bit of shading to it that kind of helps guide your colors. So I'll put some here. But you can see how using that lighter color up against those darker shadowed areas really does kind of help define those areas. Maybe it's just me, but I'm almost preferring the Brutfuner. Let me try this one just to see. You know, we all have our own personal likes and dislikes. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with any particular product. I'm in some of those Facebook groups with color pencils and stuff, and somebody posts they like a certain kind of pencil or paper or whatever. Somebody else will post that they like something that's kind of the opposite. And so everybody's different. I'm actually kind of surprised that I'm liking, to be honest with you, that I'm liking how the Brutfuner goes on in this book more than the Kalour, because I feel like, I mean, I haven't changed my mind, so the Kalour is a little bit softer pencil, more like, I would always say, more like a Prismacolor. Prismacolor, I love Prismacolor. I mean, I collect Prismacolor. I've got hundreds of Prismacolor, and I am always on the lookout for more, and not the newer Prismacolor, but the older Bayroll and Sanford Prismacolors. So I'm always on the lookout for those pencils. And if I see them and I can afford them, I'll grab them. I mean, I love them so much. But a little bit of my problem is I love them so much I almost hate to use them. And I need to get over that. I think I need to use them. Maybe not for my original drawings. So once I get my my printer that prints the 13 by 19, it's a Canon printer. I'm going to print out some of my classic car photos and convert them over to coloring book kind of format style, so I can go in with my Prismacolors. So then if I use the my inkjet printer, I can print on just about any paper I want to. And so I'm looking at a hot press, thinking about a hot press or a Bristol. A Bristol would be great too, in that size, that 13 by 19 size. So I can print out some of those classic cars onto a Bristol, which I really like to use, or a hot press, just because I like that smooth. Or I can trace it into a synthetic paper and experiment that way. So that is what I'm saving my Prismacolors for. I just need to get some motivation and get some of these projects up and going. And now, especially with, there's so much I could do with my photos, and I think about, well, let me try this, and using AI to modify this photo. And so it's been a lot of fun. I've lived a pretty fortunate life that I've been able to explore a lot of the hobbies and fun things that I like to do, especially now that I'm retired, so I kind of have a good pile of resources that I can dig into and do some of these things. So you'll notice right now that I'm not worried about blending. I don't think this is going to need much blending. I just want to make sure that, I'm not leaving anything white that shouldn't be white. So even though I'm not crazy about that background, it is pretty solid. And it could be, the one thing you've got to watch out for is, I don't think that's it. I was thinking maybe I put a tried to mix a wax-based and an oil-based pencil, and they don't necessarily always mix that well together. I don't know. I'm not sure what went wrong on that sky, but live and learn, you know. I mean, it's got a nice, it doesn't even really look like it was done in color pencil. It looks more like it was done in marker. I think I did use a blender on it just to see if I could get rid of that splotchiness stuff. And so then I thought, well, I could actually color right over these birds in the sky and then go over them, you know, with a marker, which I think I did on some of this. So there's that, my little discussion on the metallic type pencils. Take another look at the swatching that I did for the Brutfuner. Good selection of colors. And I like them in the coloring books. And there are the Kalour metallics. So you can see the selection of colors there. Not a whole lot of difference between the two pencils. Like I said, I kind of liked using the Brutfuner in the coloring book a little bit more than the Kalour. But overall, not a huge difference. I'd be happy using either pencil in this book. I like the more, to me, more muted earth tones that are in the metallic sets. And I look forward to getting motivated here and working on my cars. Working on classic cars with these, I think, would be a pretty good use for them. So this is what I'm working on today. It's been a lot. It's a lot of fun. Love these colored pencils. I don't have any issue with either one. So it might just come down to whatever kind of brand you like to use. If you have Brutfuner, you may just want to stick with the Brutfuner. If you have Kalour, you may just want to stick with Kalour. I don't know which one is, I can't even remember how much I paid for these. So I don't know if one's cheaper than the other one. I don't think that there's a whole lot of color selection differences between the two. These dark ones with the Brutfuner, the Kalour didn't have that. Kalour had some grays that I don't think I saw in the Brutfuner. So both 72 pencils, I think. So the metal case with the Kalour is a little bit nicer. Brutfuner, I'm going to have to stick in a pencil case, which I will do. I think if I would pick the Brutfuner. Even though I felt like the Kalour, they're a little bit drier than the Prismas, but they're a lot like Prisma. So, I don't know. You guys, whatever your personal preference is.